Hello, welcome back to Oracle DBA tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to discuss about autonomous transaction and how you create an autonomous transaction, and then why do you want to create an autonomous transaction. All right. So basically, autonomous transaction allows you to create a new transaction within a transaction that may commit or rollback changes. So independent of your parent transactions. Let's say your transaction T1 is let's say this is transaction T1, and then you are trying to insert say into a table, say A, right? And then next statement is you are updating table B, and is going so on, and then eventually you are going to do a commit, and then in that case the transaction T1 is going to finish. But it may require that we are going to create another independent transaction inside this main transaction T1. Say, let's say this is statement number 1, statement number 2, and then let's say at the statement number of 3 I started another transaction which is a part of this main transaction, but it is independent. Okay, and then maybe like line number 10 I have another statement is say S10. So from 2 to 10 I create I create an independent transaction, and that independent transaction can commit or roll back independent of the parent transaction. Let's say this is called T2. So this T2 can be committed or rolled back and without affecting the state of the parent transaction, and that is what is called an autonomous transaction. All right. So I just want to give you a quick example, and so that is going to clarify a couple of things. So let's say I have a table A. In table A I have, if I do a select star from A, I don't have anything, right? So there's no rows selected in this thing. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert into A, say the value is equal to set 1. So one row created, and then if I do select star from A, I'll see 1 here, and then I have another session, and then I also connected to same user, and if I do select star from A, I don't get anything because I have not committed anything, right? So if I commit, if I'm going to commit in this session, then only I can see in other session. This is according to the database consistency model, right? Because of consistency we are seeing that. So so we have one row inserted into table A, and then let's say I'm going to insert another row to 2, and then I say select star from A. Okay, so 1 and 2. So let's go back to our drawing board and then see like so what we did. So we started a transaction. So this is the transaction start, and we have inserted 1 and inserted 2 to the table A. All right, and then if I see this thing, something is coming, and now I'm going to create, basically this is a part inside this transaction, inside this main transaction I'm going to create another transaction. And then to do that, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to write a PL/SQL block. So this is a PL/SQL block where I say that whatever is going to happen from now onwards is going to be a part of an autonomous transaction. By declaring PRAGMA, I say that down the line whatever we are going to do is going to be an autonomous transaction. And inside this PL/SQL body, what I'm going to, in a for loop, I'm going to insert 7 rows starting from T3 up to 10. All right, and then when this thing is going to do, and then I'm doing a commit here. So basically essentially what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start a autonomous transaction and then insert 3 up to insert 10. So basically 7 SQL insert statements I'm going to do, and then I'm doing a commit. So look, this is the autonomous transaction. Okay, why it's autonomous transaction? Because I defined that. Okay, I say that PRAGMA autonomous transaction. Then what essentially is going to happen is that whenever doing the commit, all this 3 to 10, this 7 rows is committed, is made in database permanent. Okay, but these 1 and 2 are not still committed, and we just want to show you that in this scenario. So now what I'm going to do, so I have two rows inserted, and then I'm going to write this PL/SQL block. I just want to copy it. So here it is, and then so if I do, so the PL/SQL procedure is executed successfully, and now if I do select star from A, okay, so as you see, like, I'm going to get 1 2 3 up to 10. And if I'm going to see in the other window, select star from A, so how much I should see? So select star from A, instead of getting 10 rows, here I'm going to get 7 rows. Thing is that if you go back to this thing, so I just commit this part, I just commit the inner part of the transaction, that is starting from 3 up to 10, but still 1 and 2 are not committed. Understand my point? So 1 and 2 are not committed because I have not given any commit or rollback here. So if I say, for example, after this autonomous transaction, if I do a commit, then only 1 and 2 are going to be inserted, then 1 and 2 will be committed. Okay, so that is the deal about autonomous transaction. And so let's say, for example, after this in this after 10 rows selected, if I do a rollback, so what's going to happen if I do a rollback? Then let's go back to our thing. So so this is already committed, this independent transaction, autonomous transaction is committed. If I roll back, so it's going to roll back to the transaction point, this one. That means 1 and 2 is going to be removed. Let's say if I say rollback, and then if I do select if I do select star from A here, and I no more see 1 and 2. Okay, so that means the definition of autonomous transaction, what we told, that this autonomous transaction may commit or rollback changes independent of the parent transaction. So as you see that it didn't affect anything to the parent transaction. So don't confuse it yourself, like, so essentially what I'm saying is this is not same as I1, I2, then whatever I3 and I10 commit. So if you do this thing, then all these things will committed. But remember, this part I3, they are part of a different transaction, nothing to do with the main transaction whatever we started. Okay, so now the curious question is that starting from Oracle 8i, Oracle start to support this autonomous transaction concept. So why we need autonomous transaction? Okay, so imagine a condition where you want to log an error. So log error to a DB table. That means, say you are doing some PL/SQL transaction, some SQL statements, I1 insert 2, and then you figure out that this insert 2 has some error or something. In that case, what you want to do, you want to start immediately a new transaction, and then insert to a log table. Okay, so insert to a log table and say that say what is the error it is, what kind of error you are getting. And then whenever you are inserting that log table, you just want to commit that log table, because I want to keep track of the error. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll back this I1 and I2. Okay, so exactly what is happening here, like inside this, say I1 I2 is going on, and let's say we saw some error or something. Okay, so in that case we'll immediately start a block which should be autonomous transaction, where we are going to put the log files to a log table and commit that. But that is a requirement that I have to commit that. If I don't commit, then again I don't, next time I'm going to see the log table, I'm not able to see, I'm not able to find out what is the what is the error log and so. So that is the reason, that is the one reason why we use autonomous transaction in a lot of places. And second one is that in a database trigger, in the DB trigger, you are not allowed to write any commit or rollback. The reason is Oracle wants to give you statement level atomicity. We discussed all these things in detail in couple of videos before this video. Okay, so please take a look at that statement level atomicity in the atomicity property video. And then, but however, what we want to do, sometimes the requirement is that we want to commit and roll back inside the trigger. So if you want to do a commit and rollback inside the trigger, then while you are creating the trigger, make that as an autonomous transaction. Okay, so that means whenever if in a trigger, basically trigger is nothing but a PL/SQL procedure, right? So make that PL/SQL procedure to be autonomous. So if you do that, then you can use commit and rollback inside that trigger. And why I need commit and rollback? Because I want to make something persistent. All right. So that is there are two reasons, but you can do a lot of other things, like if you want to do a retry count and all this thing. So there are a lot of cases where you want to do a commit inside the middle of a transaction, but not necessarily you want to commit the whole transaction. Okay, so in those cases we need autonomous transaction, and then starting from Oracle 8i, Oracle provides you that.